Hey guys, what's up? So today's video is a video I think I've talked about in a... What is this hair doing? Today's video is a video I think I've talked about doing in a couple of videos or a video in the past. I'm not quite sure, but I do know that you guys have been commenting on my last Storytime video about wanting more Storytime videos and that you've been enjoying my Storytime, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you another one. And this is a Storytime about how I got busted having sex in a car by a cop. So basically, for a little bit of a backstory before we can start the actual story, is this guy, we're just gonna name him Mike. Guy Mike, he was going to a local college near me, and this was when I was doing my whole Grindr whore phase, sort of like, you know, that kind of thing. I had met Mike off of Grindr. I was like, okay, well, you know, whatever. He's in college. He can basically do what he wants. So I decided to pursue this. We started hanging out a few times, but we didn't really gel well together. It was more like it would be more comfortable just being friends. That's more or less how it was. And then eventually he and I had hung out overnight with one of my really good friends that I had at the time. I spent the night at her house, and then we didn't do anything, but we had it was like a cuddle buddy session. And so that brings us to where we are now. After a few times of hanging out, we would like go to the mall, or we would go do this, or there was actually one time I helped him figure out his phone. He needed help finding out a place that could fix his phone, so I helped him out with that. Then the day comes where he asked me if I want to go to the movies. And this was at a time where I hadn't gotten paid for my, I was getting paid the following Friday, so I was like, well, I don't have any money. I can't pay for myself, so can we reschedule or whatever? Mike was like, you know, don't worry about it. I got the money. We can take care of this. We're good. We're Gucci. Everything's fine. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll go to the movie with you. The movie we end up seeing is Thor: Dark World or Dark Legacy. The second one, I'm not quite sure what it's called. During the movie, he was holding my hand and giving me really mixed signals because, like I had said, we didn't really jive well together. So we kind of just, I thought we had left it at the point where we were just gonna be friends. But in the movie theater, he went to go grab my hand. He only got one drink for us to share, which, you know, I usually don't mind sharing drinks with people, but in a situation like that, I was like, okay. When we were in the theater, he would put his hand on my leg, like, you know, the coupley sort of things that you would do in a movie theater. And he kissed me once during the movie. He kissed me once. And then after the movie, we were done. I didn't really like the movie. I'm not really a big superhero movie person. That's a tongue twister. Anyway, I'm not really big into those movies, so I wasn't really paying much attention, and I think he could tell that because by the time the movie was over and everything like that, he didn't ask me about how I had felt about the movie or anything like that. He was just like, do you want to go to a park? And I'm like, sure, because I didn't really want to go, because I was still living at home at the time, and I didn't really want to go home, and so I was like, sure, let's go to a park. Whatever. We end up going to this park that is by the movie theater. This park has like a little weird sort of amphitheater thing, because this park is right across the street from an elementary school, so like these children have like terribly drawn paintings onto like this stone amphitheater sort of thing, but it only goes up like 3 risers. Anyway, we sat there for a minute, and then he started touching my leg again. We were like just kind of, that was when we were more sort of starting to get into it. He was like, well, do you want to go to my car? And I was like, sure. So we go to his car, we get in the back seat, we start doing the do for a second, and then I'm like, wait a minute, parks close at 10, and cops do regular stroll-throughs through parks to like make sure people aren't doing any illegal activities or anything like that after hours. And so I'm like, we need to go somewhere else, okay? Like, let's not be here. So my friend actually, who I knew really well, had lived in a trailer park really close to the park that we were in, and I was like, they had like a bunch of like, there was a section in the trailer park just dedicated to like storage units and like garages and stuff like that. There were rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of just white metal, like elongated things that would be, you know, storage units and garages, like how they would look. But it was like probably, I would say it was a complex of like maybe 10 to 15 of them. So like we could hide in between the things and be fine and, you know, whatever. And I had done that before with another Grindr hookup. Makes me sound like a whore, but that's okay. Anyway, we go to these like storage unit areas, you know. He puts a condom on, we start doing the do because we think we're in a private area. Here's where things get interesting. So he had a trash can hanging off the back seat of his passenger seat because he was like super anal about anything being dirty. Pun. Anyway, he was super anal about anything being dirty or anything like that, so he literally had like a small size trash can hanging off his passenger seat. It was really hard to try and do anything with this trash can sticking off the back of the seat. We end up trying to move into a different position, and while we're moving into this position and then we finally get you know, we finally get going. We hear a tap, 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 tap. And I was like, what was that? And Mike was like, it's nothing, let's just keep going. Because he was really into it. We heard it again, it was tap, 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 tap. But it was harder this time. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And obviously, since we were doing what we were doing, the windows were fogged over. And I like wipe off the fog on the window, and it was a cop. And I literally, like, I lost all color in my face. I was just like, oh my god. Because we were butt-ass naked at the time. We were in the middle of doing it when he was tapping on the window with his flashlight. We didn't say anything to the cop, and all he said was he looked at us and said, you don't belong here, and if you don't leave, and within the next 30 seconds, I will be calling back up. And we were like, ah. So Mike, completely naked, mind you, completely naked, jumps up into the front seat, starts driving away, fearlessly, just and I'm in the back seat throwing myself all over the place because, like, he's going as crazy as he is because this trailer park has a lot of, like, turns and curves and stuff, and he's just worrying about getting away from this cop. I'm trying to get dressed, and eventually we stop and we look behind us and we're like, is he coming? Is he coming? Like, and then Mike was like, we gotta go to a gas station because I gotta get my clothes on. So we end up going to park behind a gas station, which even looks sketchier. We end up going to park behind a gas station so that he can get dressed, and then obviously the mood was killed, you know, so the whole night was over, everything like that. The cop didn't, like, follow us or anything like that. I'm not sure if Mike got any sort of anything on his license plate because I know the cop ran the plate. That was another thing that he had told us, was that I ran the plate, blah blah blah, which was another reason why we freaked out, like, we need to go. But a little side note, Mike, he after this, he and I had still continued, like, a bit of a sexual relationship. Like, that was right before Thanksgiving break, if I remember correctly, and then he was going to college, obviously, so he went home for Thanksgiving break in Colorado. Then he came back to where I live and went back to school and things like that, and the day he came back, he texted me like, hey, what's up? And I was like, not much. What about you? You're back in town? And he was just like, yeah, and basically said, do you want to like, that was literally pretty much what he said. And then I was like, okay, sure. So we end up going to have another hookup. But the next thing I know, the next morning, I'm looking on Facebook and he's tagged in a bunch of these posts that are saying 1 month anniversary and this, that, and the other and whatever and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. So I texted him about it and I'm like, what's this thing about this whole 1 month anniversary that's on Facebook? And he's like, can you call me? I'd rather you call me instead of text me. And I'm like, no, you're gonna text it to me and you're gonna deal with it. And he's just like, okay, whatever. So he texted me about it, ended up clearing it up, but he had a boyfriend the whole time that he was doing shit with me here. And I am usually a spiteful person, and normally I would have told his boyfriend that, you know, like, I was on your boyfriend's dick, but I didn't really want to ruin the relationship, and then Mike eventually ended up telling him anyway, and then the whole thing, and now Mike's blocked me on Facebook, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, not my problem. But that's the end of the story. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please make sure to leave a like down below if you actually liked it. Also leave a like if you want more story time videos. I have a lot of more story times that I could tell, so please definitely make sure to let me know if you want more story time videos. Make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't miss anything that I do, and just remember to vlog with it. Whew.